Don't count out Casey Drake in that 87. He's right.
One more lap to go here at Indy. He ran him all the way from 3 seconds back. 2 laps to go. Oh, round 2 gets done. Oh, Matthew gets the apron. Around the Strexler. He spins right from the back. Huge wreck. The 2 flies up in the air. It's 3 wide. Oh, what a move by Derek. He wants to go.
Tries to send him up the hill, but can't quite do it.
Now between the two is 2 car lengths. Too little, too late for Derek and Smith. Oh, Clapping gets turned. Clapping gets turned. Oh my gosh. Side by side. 3 wide at the wire.
ACOG iRacing Next Gen Series takes place here at Talladega Super Speedway as we get set to go green here for 75 laps of racing. One of our 2 Super Speedway races we're going to be running for this finale weekend. Glad you get to see you here on MaxspeedTV live at the virtual Talladega, of course. And glad you tune us in. My name is Icarus.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. Thank you all for tuning in here for tonight. And we have hit the finale week here in the Summer Series, the first of the 3 races on tap here for this weekend. We'll dive right in and see everybody sits in terms of points. Cole Woody comes into tonight's race with a 6-point lead over Parker White, and it's another 36 back until you get to Harry Grindle in 3rd. So in all likelihood, this is going to be a 2-horse race here for this Super Speedway title, and we'll see which one of them comes out on top here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. This points battle for those top 2, Cole Woody, Parker White, it's all gonna matter about track position here. So with those 2 on mine, those basically gonna be our focus points for this whole entire event on how those 2 are gonna fare out and who's gonna come out up top of one of those 2 drivers. So it should be interesting, but man, we have a ton of drivers here for tonight. Biggest field we have so far in this season. So of course, no surprise, Super Speedway after all.
Yeah, the plate tracks, of course, always the biggest draw out of all the series. And this is the first time we're going to a restrictor plate track with these new cars. So I don't really know what to expect here tonight. I think it'll be a wild one, and I think we could see a pretty wild winner here in tonight's race. Because quite frankly, I have no clue how these cars are going to act and how this thing's going to turn out.
We'll just have to see as the time expires and turns itself to the double zeros. We'll be right back right after this, right after the national anthem. So rise up and remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors. And we welcome everybody back here live for the ACOG iRacing Series Next Gen League. Race 6 out of 6 going to be taking place here at the Talladega Super Speedway as we find out on who is going to become the first ever inaugural champion of this season. Cole Woody in the lead over Parker White just by 6 points, so should be interesting to see how it'll all fare out by the end of it.
Yeah, so Parker's going to probably have to finish at least 5 or 6 spots ahead of Cole in order to win this championship, of course, depending on how bonus points shake out for, winning the pole and laps and that kind of stuff. So, but even though the points gap is not that big, still a bit of an uphill battle there for the 95 heading into tonight. And as we about 3 minutes left here in qualifying, Dominic Howe currently tops on the charts, but that will probably change as only 2 cars so far have put down a lap.
Yep. Currently watching Liam Sheen in the 246 work himself around through 3 and 4. There's Parker White, the man we were just talking about, who's trying to grab the points lead away from the number 17 of Cole Woody, who's not on the racetrack. He's electing not to qualify here for tonight, so that should be interesting to see on how Cole will fare out. But there's Parker, and that number 95. All eyes are on him to see on how he'll chase on Cole.
That's a bold strategy not to qualify here tonight, hoping to avoid, of course, the early big incident that we sometimes get here in super speedway racing. So we'll see if that works out for Cole, or if it ends up happening towards the back of the ends up minute. We'll see.
All right, you see Corey H. Hart's in the 222 making his inaugural start here tonight. Race iScar. Previously, you see Clapper here in the number 34 as well, working himself down this back straightaway. Visconti out here as well. A lot of drivers here for tonight who usually, part-time just for fun out here on the racetrack. So we'll see if they make it at the end and make this an interesting race.
Always interesting to see which guys come out for the plate tracks, because some guys, I guess, they kind of approach it like they're a ringer, where they only show up for these races hoping to get a win, and we'll see if any of them can indeed do that here for tonight. But, for the guys up there in points, I'm sure that could be a bit frustrating to an extent, because sometimes those ringers may not, they may end up making a move that some of those regulars may not end up making, and it may not work out that well. So we'll see who ends up surviving to win here tonight, but I'm curious to see if it'll be a guy making a one-off for somebody that's been consistently here all season.
Yeah, we'll just have to see as this thing is looking to go to the double zeros here in just a moment. Currently a minute remaining in practice. See Joe Berge in this number 83. Brayson Collins in that number 32. He too out in the racetrack as well, so should be fun to see on how it'll all go for that number 32. Barely see him. You see Mitch Hobbs there in a pit road as he works himself on in. So it looks like at least 20 drivers qualifying at least one lap. Everybody else does not qualify. So that's about, I'd say 35 drivers, I think, here who are present for tonight. So we'll just have to get a recount on that as they do refresh my page. But, that's a lot of drivers here for a Talladega race, especially with the next gen. The last time we saw a big next gen league, a big next gen race was in the Triple Challenge, in which we saw a bunch of other drivers. I think they had a full field. It might have been a full field. I'm not really sure. I'll have to get a checkup on that. But regardless, that was a big field. And I think that was the only other race that had at least 25 or more too. Yeah, that's right. And most of the fields have been hovering between 10 and 20. So yeah, it was 37. That's a big one here tonight. 37 people. And here for tonight, looks like we're aiming around the same number, so should be interesting to see on how it will all go. But regardless, seems as though we're gridding up, getting set to go green here just momentarily as drivers get themselves lined up for tonight. I thought my iRacing there was glitched. Everybody just lined up on the outside. That was a weird coincidence. But regardless, here we go live at Talladega Super Speedway. Congratulations to that number 86 of Dominic Howe. Gonna start out row number 1 and right alongside him, Liam Sheen. Row number 2, Cole Williams in the 143, and Parker White, the man chasing Cole Woody for this championship. Jackson Menchu in this number 2, going to be starting in 5th place. Corey H. Hart making his first start here tonight. Row 4, 89 of Mitch Hobbs, who was involved in another wreck, unfortunately, last week, trying to rebound from that here tonight. And Peter Kenny to his outside will roll off 8th. Peter coming in here as a Super Speedway Series championship leader. We'll have to see on how that will play out coming Sunday night. That should be fun. And here he is getting a bit more experience. And Julian Ricky in the number 11, making another returning start here tonight. Christian Visconti going to round out the top 10. And the rest of the orders going to be shown on your screen. Find your favorite driver. Hopefully they'll win tonight. Anybody displayed with an R right next to their last name signifies them as one out of our rookies. So should be interesting to see on how everybody will, shape and form out to be, because this aero package is definitely different. Qualifying run for that 11. We'll see if he can finish up there here for tonight as we
Continue to scroll our way through the field here. And there's Cole Woody. So he'll roll off 24th here for tonight. The points leader in this series. So a bit of work to do for that 17 here throughout the rest of the evening. And as we get ourselves now towards the last couple of rows. And there you go. So 34 cars here will take the green tonight. So a pretty hefty field compared to the other races we've had in this series so far. It should be a pretty fun one here to cap off this inaugural series.
Yep, that's right. And you see the pole sitter of Dominic Allen, that number 86, going to be row number 1. Dominic I think he won the Super Speedway race here in the truck series. So that number 86 does have a victory already. So it should be interesting to see on how it'll all turn out for that number 86.
Yeah, Dominic's had some pretty solid runs so far here in this summer series. Hasn't quite been able to get himself into victory lane just yet, but off to a good start already tonight. We'll see if he can try to take home that checkered flag here from the pole position.
There's Cole, not Cole, but Parker White, that number 95, one of our championship contenders, and Cole Woody, actually not gridded right now, not really sure where he is. I think he's going to pit start. Hasn't yet to show himself in the field just yet. We'll have to get an update on that as we progress through the session, but regardless, that's going to be disaster for Woody if he does not grid in here for tonight. So that means also a championship thrown out the door. So still waiting for him, and looks like he does grid up. So he's going to be starting on pits. Interesting strat by them. I mean, you got two totally different strategies. One driver who wants to be up front, that number 95, versus Cole Woody, who's just trying to conserve. So Cole looking for the bigger picture here tonight.
I think it's going to need an early caution, though, because pit road starting at a super speedway almost guarantees you're going to get lapped pretty early on if the yellow doesn't come out. So we'll see how this pans out for him. Race analysis here on your screen. 2.66 miles in length is this Talladega Super Speedway. Noon session time. 55 miles an hour is the pit road speed, and a fuel window of 35 to 40 laps. So it should be maybe 1-2 stop race here for tonight. Track temp of 128. That is very high, so it might be a bit slick out there for these guys here for tonight. And as the pace car slides itself down into pit road, we're ready to take the green here for the last race of the season.
Yep, here we go. Dominic Allen, that number 86. Liam Sheen in the number 246. Gonna lead this field to green as we already stack up big time up there on the high side. Drivers trying to push each other, trying to get going here for the 75 lap event. Green flag is out. Howe gets the jump, and we're up and away here at Talladega.
Time to see how these cars drive here. Of course, everybody knows the track well, but does everybody know these cars at this track well? Time will tell on that one, as Cole Williams in the 143 already with a big slingshot move to the outside there. And this is something to keep an eye out for. You can't really do a slingshot like that in the other vehicles. I wonder if that'll be the main way to pass here tonight. I mean, look at the two again. We're seeing a whole lot of slingshotting already happening, and that's pretty rare across the board here at plate tracks like that, especially with no help.
And to the back goes that number 2. No pun intended there for Jackson Menchu as he scoots outside of this top 10. One car already had a lot of damage on his rear end. I'm not really sure where he is, but he does drop himself to the rear. That it looks like to be a Budweiser machine. Not really sure what's going on there, but up front though, Dominic Allen, this number 86, rolls the field through turns 1 and 2.
Could have been a bottle up on the... If I had to guess, it may have been a bottle up on the start where he got run into by somebody, as one car gets really squirrely there in the middle of turns 1 and 2. I believe that was the 32 of Collins, as a couple guys will get their noses down into the apron for some air. Down the backstretch, this is looking pretty interesting so far. Like, they're all grouped together, but they're not really organized either.
That's right, so we keep ourselves even for right now, as you see here a push up to the high side. It's Parker White trying to make something happen there in the second lane, but unfortunately not really going anywhere. That's Cole Williams also there, as well as we're going to go 4 wide here as Peter Kenny scoots himself up high. That's Henry Clapper going to be sort of jammed in the middle. And you see Liam Sheen, that 246. He already dropped himself all the way to 15th spot.
They're all over the place right now, and we talked about briefly that qualifying run for Julian Ritchie in the 11. Started himself in 9th, already on lap 3, finds himself in 3rd.
Yeah, how about that for that number 11? I know one of our rookies, fairly new people on iRacing, so nice run by him for right now, and he's dragging along another person we really don't talk much about. That's the number 80 of Christian Visconti, as Grayson Collins, our dirt late model winner at Bristol, works himself inside this top 5. And this is why I expected. Drivers are going to easily start to break away from this pack, so it seems as though it's sort of a 5-car break for right now. As you see that driver who's missing a bumper there trying to work a 3rd lane, but not really going anywhere. Regardless, though, interesting racing out on the racetrack as Parker White closed the gap.
Oh, bit of contact there into turn 1, and I was going to point out, I think Grayson in the 32 has some front end damage. I don't know if it's me, but the grill looks a bit kicked in on that car, so maybe he was the one that ran into that Budweiser car off the initial start of the race, but running in P5 right now doesn't seem to be affecting him a whole lot, and that's supposed to be one of the big things with these next-gen cars as they go to more of a composite body, is that these cars can take a bit more of a beating before you have to retire from the race, so already looks like that is pretty evident here, as that much damage in a regular Cup car would probably render him down some RPM here already.
Lots of shuffling there up on the high side. Berge works himself to the high side. 3 wide action there. No much of it as Cole all over this 222 of Hearts. 143 and 222 just sort of credit card swiping each other's bumpers, but luckily keeping each other straight for right now. But man, you know how these bumpers are curved. Really hard to push in these cars, and hopefully they could align themselves to the front as one car. Actually, a couple of drivers are going to drop themselves to the rear.
And Dominic Howe still pacing the field here on lap number 5 as top 4 or 5 are still single file here for right now. But yeah, it's still weird looking at this field. Like, everybody's still pretty much in one big pack, but they've been really all over the place. There's been really no sense of organization whatsoever here in this early going, and I wonder if that's trying to get a handle on these cars and how they draft or what, but here we see Corey H. Hart's making a run for the top spot with help from Cole Williams in the 1. So I wonder if this is still guys trying to really figure out how these things drive and behave on a new track.
Oh, there you go!
Liam Sheen's gonna come back up the hill and take out 5, 6 cars. Caution is out here, and he gets hit again by 2 or 3 more people.
There's
and
still people piling
into this. Another 5, 6, 7 cars. It's a parking lot there out of turn 2, and what quickly was a 1 or 2 car incident quickly became a 10 or 15 car incident. So we're gonna get a look at this, but a whole lot of people collected in this one, and whoever that car is, that's done.
Here's Woody arriving on the scene a bit late, but man, that...
It looked small, and then once the 246 hooked it back up the hill, oh, that was going to be a big one, so...
Yeah, so...
we got to look at this one.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to really say about that. You are right. It's good explanation there, but, I mean, as soon as one of those cars went down the racetrack, there was a bunch of people who were trying to crowd down to the bottom and sort of avoid all that action, but unfortunately, you know, you could only do so much there on the apron, and it ended up wiping out another slew of the field.
So it looks like the 221 of Colton Lights had too big of a run and just got right into the back of Liam Sheen. Collins is in that, and there's a whole lot of people. I can't even really name them right there. I think Connor Brandon's in that.
Yeah.
This is a lot of people. But yeah, the 221 had such a huge run on Liam and just couldn't go anywhere with it and ended up hooking him by accident. And around they all went. And now here's everybody trying to slow up for the wreck. Peter Kenny ends up getting into the back of 2 cars there. Schmidt does a nice job of slowing it down. There's Johnson, the 33. It's a good job of weaving his way through.
Berge gets hit late. You see the 81 in there. 96. Connor coming in late.
Big hit for the 83. He's probably done for the night. Yeah, there's Moosh in the 46. 34, Clappert. A lot of people in this one.
53. Frimpong was in it. There's Granada.
Menchu right there going spinning last second in the middle of that.
Oh, he might have, yeah.
42. Oh,
42.
Nick Miller.
Yeah, jeez.
You see, Nick just couldn't get it slowed down in time, but didn't really help that the that car didn't really hold the brakes either. So
that's about...
yeah, good 10, 15 people all with damage out of that one. And after looks like Dominic Howe and a couple others have elected to go down pit road. So that's going to give Corey H. Hartz in the 222 the race lead. And it'll put Gabe up to second. And it looks like Colton Lights, who got into the back of Liam to trigger that incident, was actually the one that got the damage off the initial start. So not the greatest of starts of the night that 221 would have wanted.
Yeah, there's his rear end. So a couple drivers gonna stay out. Hartz is one of them. Lights not Lights, but Allen the other. You see that number 51 up there, but yeah, that triggered a big wreck, and you see how many cars are on pit road. My gosh. I mean, it goes back to your talk about what you call it, composite bodies.
Yeah, it's not going to help everything though. I mean, he still hit the wall hard enough. That's still going to be out of the race. But some of these pit road stays are probably going to be extended stays. But of course, the general idea though is with a composite body, you know, the car can take, you know, for example, like a track like Martinsville, you know, you use the bumper a whole lot at a track like Martinsville and Bristol. You might be able to use it a couple more times in the new cars than you can in the regular or the current Cup cars. But in a situation like this at Talladega, I mean, you still hit that wall at 150 miles per hour. That car's still junk, no matter how strong you build the car. So only so much you can do in a situation like that. And unfortunately, some of these guys tonight have learned that the hard way.
Corey Charts looks like has fallen through. He was in the lead, but looks like is not displayed anymore. So that'll put Gabe Allen to the front. By the looks of it.
Oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, I'm not really sure where he went. So off of pit road, seems as though Julian Ricky is going to be the first person off of pit road. Parker White's going to be second, or technically third, and he has a teammate there as well. At 143 of Cole Williams, so that's going to be important to see on how that'll all go. As see, Gabe looks like he wants to elect the high side here for the restart.
And according to Mitch Hobbs, him and Dominic Howe had an incident coming back to the caution, so that might have actually been why Dominic lost the lead versus him coming down pit road. But the 86 is still in P8, so it doesn't look like it hurt him that much, but fortunately we kind of missed that. But Mitch is also intense, so it looks like they're both fine despite that happening.
Man, you see how much this field has shrunk, basically.
Yeah, we'll see how many people are out of it, but
yeah, I only see 25 like, drivers now.
Yeah, Burgie's definitely out. He hit pretty hard. There's already a couple of guys 2 down, some guys 1 down. And even the ones that are able to continue are probably going to be down quite a bit of RPM here for the remainder of the evening. So they're probably just going to be riding it around, hoping that a couple more guys end up out of the race just to pick up a couple points or positions or whatnot. We'll see.
So Gabe gonna elect the high side for the restart. So Bergie, Johnson, Justin Johnson, Paul Granada, Glenn Bundren, Liam Sheen, Sawyer St. Clair, Nick Miller, Colton Lights, Ryan Kendrick maybe, Andrew Lutz, Patrick Mush. I mean, there's a bunch of people who are very, very damaged as Liam just spun out. But Gabe's gonna turn left very, very quickly onto pit road. This is gonna confuse a couple of people because Julian was supposed to start second, but Parker jumps the lead.
Green flag is out, and this is... I don't even know what in the world just happened there, but this is probably the most disorganized restart I've ever seen at a plate track.
Yeah, Gabe turned it left fast on pit road, so...
Parker White, though, in the race lead, and if he can at least stay out there and lead this next lap, that'll be an important bonus point as he tries to get this championship away from Cole Woody.
Man, so you only have 5 cars left out here in this main draft. I mean, because of that, how disorganized that restart was, you got Woody now in 11th, and everybody else is sort of on an island of their own, sort of trying to get things situated toward the back. But regardless,
Ricky throws it up high, but at the line, it's going to be Parker. So there's a bonus point to the 95 as he tries to get this title away. So an important point there for him. And now Shane DiMantova in the 20, now up in the second. As you see Julian Ritchie getting freight trained a bit there on the high side, and he'll drop down now to 5th.
Now finds himself on the bottom as we're getting more disorganized. So this is the thing about the next gen car. The new aerodynamic models make the racing fairly interesting. I mean, you see here top 3 pull away with the White, DiMantova, and Visconti all by themselves. And because they were fighting out for 4th for a bit, it's allowed the top 3 to sort of scoot themselves away momentarily. And Williams is sort of on an island of his own with Ricky and Howe. And Howe tried to fight out Ricky earlier, so it slowed progress down. So usually on super speedways, you know, it gives you like a couple laps and such to build up runs up on another lane and make something happen. But if you try to fight out with somebody and go side by side, it's gonna slow you down. Not only because of side draft. Side draft is something new that we have to mention about. As here we go, some perfect example right there. They got side by side for 3rd, and that allowed the top 2 to pull away.
Yeah, and even the guys that kind of lost the draft, you needed kind of a substantial amount of cars to even catch that lead pack. Because, of course, if you're only in a pod of 2 or 3 people, there's no way you're going to catch a pack like this. So, I mean, I don't actively wish for cautions, but the fan in me kind of wants a yellow to stack this whole field back up again. But the announcer in me just hopes it pans out however it pans out. So, right now, they're all single file here, top 8 all in that pack together. Looks like a group of 3 or so behind them as the next nearest group to these guys. And here we have a move to the outside. Cole Williams in the 143, and he'll take Dominic Howe and company with him, and Parker will block up behind to 3.
Alright, we're gonna go side by side here for 2nd. White's gonna throw a block. And, oh, big push there. Hobbs pushed the 143 sideways. Stays committed, though.
All right, man.
Oh, we got a caution, though. Caution toward the back.
Menchu, Peter Kenny. So the fan in me has gotten my wish, but unfortunately, Jackson Menchu and Peter Kenny already the 2nd wreck that each of them have been involved in so far tonight. So we'll see what put them here into some trouble.
Off the corner.
Oh,
Menchu just hooked a
big hit
Peter
there for
right
the
into
19. Well, if we get another look at this, I wonder if Menchu just got loose up there. We'll have to see. But I wonder if that was just, well, or maybe it was a bit of retaliatory measures there. Yeah, I think, I don't think Menchu really appreciated that big bump that Peter gave him into 3, and you see that 19 pretty mangled now. So unfortunately, his night probably going to be over.
So I'll restack up the field again. Hopefully,
yeah,
we
that
don't have
definitely
some...
looked a bit retaliatory, unfortunately.
And hopefully, we don't get a jumbled up restart like we got last time. So under caution yet again on 14 out of 75. Pit roads are going to be open this time by. And I expect a lot of these drivers to skip themselves left onto pit road, and here they come. And a few drivers are going to elect to stay out. Not very surprised about that, because you could still just make it on one stop from this point forward, but from their previous stop. But regardless, everybody on in, and do their thing. So one driver backing up big time, I think, is Patrick Muse in the 46. Not really sure what's going on there, but he gets himself a go regardless. So in and off of pit road, everybody goes. There's Brannon, Collins, Clapper. Where's Minshew? At least that's what's left of him. Where else is everybody? We do have a few people waiting in the waiting room, so we'll go ahead and drag one of those drivers in. Man who was involved in that first caution into the booth, he goes. This number 81 of Andrew Lutz Jr. Hey, Lutz, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Lutz, hey, man, you sitting 22nd as of right now. You were involved in that first incident, but it seems as though I think you repaired it all and see all fenders on all four sides of the car, so still under caution right now. What are you expecting here for this next green flag run?
I don't really know what to expect. The car is not handling too well because of the RPMs. And I lose draft pretty easily. I'm still in this at least, but I don't know if I can keep up with everybody else, so.
Alright, but 10-4. But anybody you're working with out on the racetrack?
Not really anybody in particular. Just trying to find people who I can work with, and then work with them.
All right, about 10-4. Andrew Lutz Jr. and that number 81 currently lining up 22nd here for the restart. Good luck out there for this next green run. That was that number 81 of Andrew Lutz Jr. And we go back up front. Kilo Hankins has picked up the lead alongside with Bachman. So the top 5 have all stayed themselves out on the racetrack. All the way Bachman, Hankins, Kendrick, Weber in Lights. So should be interesting as we have a two new top 5 to, see on how this will all go.
Yeah, Colton Light's up there in 5th despite the early race trouble he's had with that initial start damage and unfortunately getting into the back of Liam Sheen on that first caution, who is out of the race. So see if we can rebound from that and get a good finish here as we get ourselves doubled up and to the lead for the first time tonight. Keloa Hankins in the 72, who picked up his first league win a few weeks ago here in this series at Atlanta. So trying to end off this series perhaps with win number 2.
All right. Yeah, Keloa, first time he's won under the ACOG banner, so he didn't win under the iScar one, but came close multiple times. 72 now. Has a win racked up through Atlanta, as you just said. We'll see if we can pick up another one. And as well as the driver, going to be starting alongside him, the 84 David Bachman. Hasn't had the best of luck this season, but takes the chances to work himself to the front. And now the 84 is now in second off of track position. So should be interesting to see on how it'll all go. And we see all eyes are going to be on this number 17 of Cole Woody, as well as the 95 of Parker White. Those are going to be the 2 drivers we're going to have to watch out for as we get set to go green. And Keloa hits the throttle very, very early, or a bunch of drivers going to scoot themselves to the high side. And Mitch Hobbs might get a penalty because he might have passed that 00 before the start-finish line. We'll have to see, though.
Yeah, another jumbled restart there, but as Colton Lights almost blocks actually did block Dominic Howard onto the apron. A close call there between those two. But out of 2, the 72 of Hankins still paces the field as here and a big block, and around they go towards the back, and a massive hit for one car there down the backstretch. Caution is out once again. And we'll see who this is. I believe that's Connor Brennan, the 92. The 6 involved.
4 spinning.
Paul Granada. And that was a huge hit that Connor took there down the back. And I think Julian Ritchie was the first car around. We'll get another look at this You're out of 2.
Off of
Ooh.
Demantova.
Oh, Connor.
And right about here.
Oh,
No, my gosh, that's what I was looking at.
Did he miss that? No way. No way, right?
About. Oh,
What?
he got lucky.
What?
Darius Rezadadgar, that's all luck as he squeezed himself against the outside wall.
Talk about the seas parting, because they certainly did right there. I saw the 11 come back up the hill, and I thought the 6's night was over, but man, you couldn't have asked for a better bounce off the wall right there for Darius. So new life for him here in the rest of this race.
He does have a bit of right front damage though, but
Could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah,
though.
it could have been 10 times worse for him. So
the same cannot be said for Connor Brennan, unfortunately, after that huge hit he took, and I think the 11 might be done as well. So a tough break there for those two.
Yeah, and Julian
I'm sure those crew guys expressing their disappointment to each other.
Oh,
that's
and not good.
And I think we might have figured out who ended up turning the 11. And the 04, you can see that all the damage to him. He's been involved in a couple incidents already tonight, so not the best of nights here for Paul Granada.
It was the 20 of Demantova who hooked the 11. I think.
We'll get another look at it.
Wasn't.
I
really
thought the 20
attention.
was ahead of it. I mean, I just immediately assumed it was the 04 because the 11 just retaliated like that. But I wonder if that was for something separate. We'll get another look at it, but an odd one for sure. So that's where the initial block was between Dominic and Colton Lights, and yeah, it was the 20.
Oh, Connor, nowhere to go.
I wonder why the 11 went and hit the 20 then, or the 04.
Oh, jeez.
Like, where did
Renata?
Did he just plow into it, maybe?
Oh, he got into the backside. Patrick. Yeah, backside of Patrick.
So why did? I'm just sitting here wondering why the 11 hit him. Like, what is the correlation of that?
Probably
Unless he just wasn't paying attention.
Might have been a bit of coincidence, and I just not paying attention and such like that. So the 11 just ran back into the 04. So regardless, not much of the top 5 has changed. Mitch Hobbs has now worked himself into the 4th spot, and the other driver inside that top 5, one of those drivers did pit. Actually, everybody from 14th on back did hit pit road, so. Co in the waiting room? No, looks like he's not. We'll get the highest runner up here into the booth, and that's Dominic Cow in that number 86. Dominic! See, you're running 7th as of right now. How's it going there on the racetrack?
I hate this car and I hate this package, but I'm having a great time. I really don't want to get wrecked because that would be a waste of a night, but, we're having a good time.
Alright, bud, 10-4. You mentioned the package and how difficult it is just to pass. I mean, we've seen some already interesting restarts off of the green and such like that, just breaking away and such. It's just so drastically different than what we typically see with the, older Cup package, the truck, the Xfinity car. How are you trying to combat it here with the next gen?
I can't go to the back I think if I'm out of the top 7, I'm screwed and I'm gonna get wrecked, because if you get positions for everything with this package, you can't go from the back to the front easily.
All right, bud. 10-4. Dominic Howell currently running 7th as of right now. Good luck for the restart.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go wreck some people. It's gonna be good.
All right. Here we go again. Top 5 going to be Hankins, Bachman, Hobbs, White, and Webster. So the drivers who've stayed themselves out: Lights, Kendrick, Webster, Bachman, Hankins. Everybody else has hit pit road at least, you know, within the last cycle. The people who have all hit pit road off of this caution is everybody from 14th on back, excluding Andrew Lutz in that number 81. So getting set to go green. Darius Dadgar in the number 6 seems as though he's the only driver who's going to be one lap down within this pack. So we're left with 22 drivers as we started with 34. Already whittling down the field as we approach the 1/3 mark of the night. As Bachman is blinking out severely. Oh boy, he's having some issues.
That's not good. I think he might be dropping to the back here.
Yeah, he's having some issues. Or now he's getting himself back up, but he's going to jumble up the restart again. Oh, he got turned. Hobbs is not paying attention.
Oh, jeez.
What is Hobbs doing? What is Hobbs doing?
Oh, boy, guys. Come on.
All right, coming to green. Kilo
I think
nails
we're
the
good
throttle.
now.
Yeah, and up
He
and away
hit it
we
really
go.
early.
Whoa!
Oh, man. I thought that was going to be a wreck, but thankfully it wasn't one. Been a lot of close calls so far.
Not too close as
3 wide almost. Parker thought about it.
Webster pulls himself into 2nd place. He has a run on Kiloa.
Good block out of 2.
Oh, he's gonna hug him!
Oh, he turned him. And around goes to 72. We'll see if this brings out a caution or not. It may not because it's a single car. And that is a really tough break there for Kiloa. Hankins. Just got himself turned from the lead and just spun again trying to get it going. So that's going to lose him a lap in all likelihood. And out of 4, Ryan Kendrick in the 00 now to the race lead as one car pulls down to the apron and will come down pit road. And they might go 4 wide right behind them around 10th or 12th place. But Kendrick will lead his first lap of the night here at the line.
Yeah, how about that for the 00 Ryan Kendrick? Was a former Super Speedway winner in the Super Speedway Series. That's now the top 4 are going to pull themselves forward out of 5th place. Who's being left, looks like the 20, not 20 Brayson Collins, 20 Shane DeMantova. You got Brayson Collins up there as well, as everybody just trying to single themselves down to the bottom and get themselves pulled. But man, this top 4 really, really strong here. And so right now, as they work themselves into 3, that's Parker White, who's worked himself into 2nd. Cole Woody, in the meantime of that number 17, seems as though all the way back in 16th, just laying back. So right now, if this race were to end, it would be, Dominic Howe and Mitch Hobbs just about made contact as DeMantova gets to the backside of Hobbs. We're all scrambling yet again, but if this race were to end as is, Parker would come out as champion. As, man, a big move yet again by the 20.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get turned right there by Dominic in the middle of 1. But yeah, Parker would be the champion right now if this thing ended right now, but it's not ending right now. There's still 52 laps to go, so still a whole lot of the race remaining here. So still plenty of time for stuff to happen. And I'm quickly learning here by watching this that blocking is a very risky move, and it seems to be more detrimental than it is in a current Cup car.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting how these cars are working with side draft and the air bubble as well. I had to mention the air bubble. I think that it really fans out the racing a ton. So this is honestly my first time seeing super speed racing, but I've heard people talk about how different the aero package is compared to like what we see off of the truck and the Xfinity car, as well as the old Cup cars. So interesting to say the least. I know a bunch of people don't like it, and if I were on the racetrack running 11th or such, I wouldn't like it either.
It's no fun to run at any plate track in any car when you're not in the lead pack. I mean, that's no different, but top 7 or 8 single file right now, 00 is still your leader. as we approach 50 to go here in 2 more circuits. So with the field starting to whittle down, looks like we're down to 21, 22 cars, so we're down almost half the field already, only a third of the way in. So we'll see how many of these cars end up making it to the end. But you know, the man that that has proclaimed that he hates this package, hey, he's running third right now. Reminds me of when Kyle Busch won the first COT race at Bristol and then said he hated the cars. I mean, I guess you can hate something you're good at, right?
Yeah, definitely. As the top 7 pull themselves forward, it's Bachman, sort of, not Bachman, but top 8. It's DiMaggio left on an island of his own, and then you have a pack of 4, or what is soon to be 5, as DiMaggio loses this lead draft. But you see Woody there in that number 17, and Schmidt alongside with Light. So even though we have a lot of drivers still left in the race, only 7 of them seem to be competing for the lead. And this is perks of the Aero package. It just makes it interesting and very, very hard. So
yeah, kind of weird that we still have 50 laps to go, and it looks like the people that are really going to be in contention have kind of already separated themselves from everybody else.
yeah, so all eyes on this 00 of Kendrick as they try to go side by side in the background. The 84 and 84 or Bachman try to make that second line work, but nobody went with him. As well as you see, he side drafted the 80, so that pulled them back. So they're gonna have to make something happen yet again as Hobbs nails the apron, but seems as though it doesn't really upset his car as I thought it would. Lots of these cars are very much out of line. You see there, 32. Collins snagged the apron as Bachman tries to make another run on the high side. Not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, it seems like getting a run is a bit more difficult than it is before. But
Oh, wow.
oh, big move there by Dominic out of 2. Just about flung it down onto the apron looking for that position. But right now, the top 5 remain unchanged, and with so much of the race left to go, I think it might be a while before we start to see some bigger moves made. Wouldn't surprise me if they just run like this for the next 30 or 35 laps.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, but man, Parker nearly got turned off of Howe, who got a bump from Hobbs. That would have been disastrous for the man who's sitting as the championship points leader as of right now. Woody seems as though he's snagged onto the back end of the number 5 of DiMaggio. I know the 121 and 5, both of them are teammates through Proximity Racing. That 121 trying to give the 5 you know, up into that lead draft and make something happen off of it. They're not far back, just only 5 seconds. For the other drivers, they're left on their own pods. You see here the 51 of Gabe Allen. Multiple laps down, unfortunately. Frimpong's in here. You got Patrick Mush and Andrew Lutz Jr. as Gabe drops himself out of harm's way. Granada is left by himself, looks like with Dadgar.
6 might have had more damage than we thought he did. But Gabe was up there towards the lead earlier, but unfortunately had an incident under caution with Paul Granada that set him back some ways. So already some good cars that unfortunately have been rendered out of contention. And it'll be a long night for them with still over half the race remaining.
Move to the high side for Hobbs and that number 89. We'll see if he can get anything much of it. Worked himself side by side with the 86, but man, you see the 86 pull, but got reeled back because they went side by side. But here comes Hobbs with another run, but a bad push there again from Hobbs.
Yeah, Mitch is one of the more aggressive guys here in ACOG, especially on those super speedways, and You know, I don't say this to rag on him, but you know, there's been quite a few instances where he's pushed somebody a bit too hard that sometimes ended up turning him around. I mean, you know, if you're looking for a guy that's going to push you to no end with like 5 laps to go, Mitch is like the perfect guy. But if you're looking for someone to just ride around with, you know, for the first half of the race or so, Mitch may not be the guy you're looking for. Just the difference in style of racing, I guess.
Yeah, everybody has their own way of attacking super speedway races, and for these 8 drivers up front, their strategies have bundled together in which a way that they could just pull away from the field for right now. So it's interesting because this new package has sort of jumbled up strategies. For Cole Woody, who wanted to sort of lay himself to the back, it's bit him. I mean, that number 17 is now 6 seconds off the lead draft, along with the 5 of DiMaggio. And what could have been a laid-back strategy has now turned into a desperate need to get yourself to the front. So it seems as though you have to be more aggressive in this package, especially with this kind of with the aerodynamics we have here, in which side drafting and an aero bubble just make much a big difference. So for all those drivers who sort of race more aggressively, I mean, it benefits to them. But for all those drivers who sort of want to lay themselves to the back and, you know, keep themselves calm, you don't really have an option in hitting the go button because you're going to be disconnected from that pack. So it's very interesting. As you see, it seems as though David Bachman in the 84 has disconnected himself from this lead draft, and he falls himself by himself. So he's going to be joined by DiMaggio and a couple of others here in a moment.
I mean, I don't envision that we'll stay green to the end. I think of at least one more caution before the night is set and done with, but it definitely puts Cole in a precarious spot because Parker's already gotten a bonus point for leading a lap, and I believe coming in 6 points up, he needed to finish 7 spots ahead of Cole. And right now he's 8 spots ahead, plus the bonus point that Cole does not have. So right now, I believe Parker, if the race ended now, would win the title by, I want to say, 2 points over the 17. So we still have 41 laps to go, and Cole is running in the top 10. But even despite those 2 factors, I mean, his back is still kind of against the wall here. Because on the off chance this does run green all the way to the end, it's going to be a really tough time to try to get up to that. Not even, I wouldn't even say the lead, but just to try to get up into that main pack again, he would virtually need a caution to come up for that to happen, and that's the only way he's going to pass Parker at this point. Unless something crazy happens with the 95.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Parker in a pretty good spot right now.
Here's Rosdagar in the 6, moves himself out of harm's way. He gets lapped. Gonna probably scoot himself down to the low side and sniff a draft off of these other drivers, but man, it's very, very interesting. And these 7 cars, I mean, they're disorganized as well. As here we go, move for second. Here comes Halp at the high side, but he just not go anywhere. Has to slot himself back in line. And that's gonna jam up Hobbs and Demantova and everybody else right behind. So bunch of accordion effects as everybody tries to get themselves a go, as here comes Hobbs again. Looking, but I think these drivers are learning big time on how the super speedway package handles and what they could do. What can you do and what you can't do with this package.
Yeah, I mean, all of these races are basically just big testing sessions. Like, of course, these guys are being, you know, they want to be really competitive and try to get themselves up towards the lead and win races and, you know, get top 5s and top 10s. But in the grand scheme of things, this whole series has really just been a test session for us to see, you know, what kind of works with these cars and what doesn't. And that is the caution that Cole, Woody, and company needed. And it's the 121 of Cody Webster. He's going to back it in again to the outside wall. So, yeah, so we're at the halfway point too. So I would imagine everybody will come down pit road here and fill up to the end. As he's racing with Henry Clappert in the 34 and just got hooked. Big hit there for him.
Clapper had a run.
That was a weird one.
Yeah, Webster was on the apron. I'm not sure if he was trying to get himself on the racetrack, but as it was turning up, Clapper was there.
Yeah, he just kind of went down into the apron, and then I don't know why Clapper went down there, because he had to know that the 121 was going to have to come back up the hill. I mean, it to me, at least looking at it that way, it looks like Cody didn't mean to go down there. So I don't know why Clapper went as low as he did, but tough break there regardless for both of them. And this will reset the field and gives Cole Woody the break he needed to try to catch that 95.
So caution back out. Caution number 3 of the night. Here on 37 out of 75. But yeah, as Dominic House said, this thing has turned very much into a track position race, so now, of course, that opens up the door for some more strategies to be played and more areas to be explored that were never explored with the other packages. So on the pit road, everybody goes. That's a big break there for I think the 81 of Andrew Lutz Jr., who's going to get the wave around.
Yeah, we saw him get lapped just before that caution came out, so good break for him. Bad break for whoever was the last car on the lead lap before that.
That was Dadgar. He was 1 lap down, but then got lapped again through that green cycle, but then that caution came out, so Dadgar seems as though he's gonna elect for a wave around. So he'll have at least like 15 laps to tinker around with until the next caution. So these drivers, not sure if they have to pit at least one more time. They're gonna be close, but I think they're gonna be able to make it all the way from 38.
I think the projected window was 35 to 40. And we're going to go green probably with either 35 or 46. Or 35 or 36, rather.
Woody
so it should be right on the tail end of that window. And there you see Cole leading a lap here and staying out. So there's a key bonus point that he just got. He's going to have to come down and pit again, but trying to equalize the point that Parker's already gotten tonight. So good call there for the 17. Yeah, I think everyone that pits this time should be good to the end.
Yep. All right, Dewey, how about it's your turn? You go ahead and drag somebody in.
Oh, boy. Pick my poison. No. Okay, well, let's drag in Mr. Championship Lady here, Cole Woody. Hey, Cole, got a copy? Hey, Cole, it's the guys up in the ACOG booth. Got a copy?
I gotcha.
And surprise, surprise! Up there in the championship battle, we see you right now staying out to lead a lap and try to equalize the one that Parker led earlier. How's it looking for you right now, since it looks like you'll be good on the field to the end from here?
Yeah, we've been just trying to lay back, hopefully to avoid the carnage and trying to get as many points as possible, because I spoke to Parker earlier, and him and I had 2 different ways of doing this, and so far it's worked out pretty good for both of us. I'm just trying to keep as many points from Parker away as I can, because I know at the end of it, it's just going to be the 2 of us. So with the points equaling out, just trying to not let Parker get the most laps led, otherwise it's not going to look good for me.
Well, I see you taking the 1 to go, and you still have to pit again here before this thing ends. So you banking on another caution coming out, or how are you going to approach this here?
Yeah, that's the goal. Hoping another caution comes out quickly. That way I can come down and fill the car up and maybe get some tires, and then just go balls to the wall to the end, and hopefully I can close this one out.
All right, good luck on that tonight. We'll see if you can come out on top here in this title battle.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was a bit surprised to see the 1 to green that time, but yeah, that means he's going to need another caution to come out here. Otherwise, if this goes green to the end, he's not good on fuel, unlike everybody else behind him. So risky strategy call here for the 17. We'll see if it works out for him.
Yeah, I find it interesting as well for Woody to stay himself out. I think pit road closed. Pit road only opened pit road was only open for 1 lap, so he couldn't work himself down on pit road, coming to 1 to go. So 17 had to elect to stay out, or else he would have been in a bad spot. And now he's gonna have to pit within these next 40 laps, or like just about 40 laps. So, but some interesting people, you know, up in challenge. So once Woody does, if Woody has to hit pit road, that means he's gonna be trapped like around 1 lap down with Dadgar and Clapper. I mean, those are the only 2 drivers who are 1 lap down, 18th and 19th. Once he does, if he does catch a caution within or after he pits, we'll just have to see on how it'll all go. But Woody elects to stay out, and a few other drivers have selected to hit pit road with 1 to go, alongside Parker White, Cole Williams, Colton Lights. I mean, not Colton Lights, but Kiloa Henkins and Schmidt. So it should be interesting to see on how it'll all go. But regardless of that, Racing Collins in the 32 trying to push Woody, as Woody's going to hit the throttle and back up and away we go.
Green, green, green.
Field makes their way here through turns 1 and 2. Cole still leads right now, but again, he still needs another yellow to come out in order to be good on fuel to the end. Has Ryan Kendrick in the 00 right behind him, who was the leader at the time of the last caution that came out. Eventova up to 3rd now. Parker White now back into 10th place, so I think he got shuffled behind a couple guys that either decided to stay out with Cole or maybe opted for 2 tires versus 4, but still in a pretty good spot here regardless.
Yeah, they whip by Bachman, severely damaged, that number 84 is, and he drops all the way to 12th. But man, Parker has a bit of time to sort of make up between himself and Frank DeAngelis as they're trying to go side by side yet again. But as we've seen, side by side action really hinders progress. And to the back goes that number 86. To the back goes that 131. So top 3 pull away now, as it's Brayson Collins in the number 32, who's severely damaged. Brayson, he's still able to keep up with the lead draft, but it seems as though it's just hard for him to suck up, as he has Visconti tucked up to his rear end. So we'll see if Brayson could get a draft and scoot himself to the backside of that number 20. But looks like DeMaggio is going to pull out a line and try to make something happen, but doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, Brayson has had that damage on the front of his car since the initial drop of the green flag. Got into the back of Colton Lights in the 221 at the beginning of the race, so he's really unfortunately had that issue all night of just trying to hold on at this point. And he's also been involved in at least 1 incident, so I mean, he's still running in 4th place, which is still pretty good. It's just, I think it's a matter of time before the guys behind him leave him out to dry to try to catch those top 3. And I think Visconti's trying to do that.
And yeah, Brayson's definitely hindering the progress, as we got another caution.
And that's what Cole needed, so now he can come down and pit for the fuel he needs to make it to the end. And we'll see who it is.
Granada again.
And it looks like it's Granada again. So bad night gets worse there for the 04. Racing with Dadgar and looks like Frimpong. We'll see what happened with him. And
oh, shook him.
And kept it off the wall. Good job. And then it wouldn't have been a caution until right there when he came back up the hill onto the racing surface. So caution out once again. And like I said, now that gives Cole the opportunity to pit and get himself good on fuel to the end. And this may work out to his favor as well, because with the window of 35 to 40, we're going to go green with probably 29 or 30 to go. So if he ends up being the only one that pits, he'll have more fuel for a potential green-white checkered or 2 than everybody else. But I think in a situation like this, everybody might come down, and that'll really work out in Cole's favor.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Woody definitely needed that caution, so... I'm sure he'll hit pit road this time by. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna... Oh, no, never mind. Maybe some people are gonna follow him in. Looks like half split, half in, half out, but... Majority looks like gonna scoot themselves on in, so Woody not falling as far back as I thought he would. So that'll shuffle Kendrick to the lead, and Mantova into second, Visconti into third, and DiMaggio into fourth, as well as DeAngelis in the fifth. So everybody else on pit road probably gonna scoopity boop, boop, boopity boop, and you know have a go at it for this upcoming restart. It seems as though Dadgar. Now he gets the wave around, so this is what Dadgar needs. He puts himself on the lead lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, he seems like he's been off pace a bit all night, probably from that damage he got earlier. But it can never hurt, of course, to be on the lead lap, so we'll see if maybe he can try to latch on and stay with the lead pack here this time around. And try to gain some more spots.
Alright, we'll go ahead and drag in this number 53 of Mark Frimpong into the booth this time, so... Into the booth goes this 53, if I could find his name. Oh, there it is. Into the booth goes the 53 of Frimpong. Frimpong involved in that last caution, but we'll get to the gist of that here in a moment. But Frimpong, still on the lead lap. Had a bit of damage off of that first caution, that huge wreck. How's your car shaping out to be as of right now?
The car's absolutely killed. It's terrible. Like, I have damage in all parts of the car, but... trying to just make it hold up okay. Hope for a late wreck maybe that'll take out a few more of the people that don't know how to drive and maybe pick up a few spots towards the end. And yeah, a little bit involved in the last wreck, but nothing too serious from that wreck. Just more incident points, so hopefully I don't get DQ'd.
All right, about 10 for Frimpong. It's interesting out on the racetrack. It's just way different of what we've seen with the Super Speedway series, in which everybody's just bunched up and such like that. Lots of pullaways, lots of side drafting, air bubble into effect. Just describe to me the racing out there on the racetrack.
The racing that I was able to complete in the 5 laps before people completely lost the talent that they don't really have. I was able to realize that the side draft was really, really strong, and the shifting a little bit, sometimes going between 4th and 5th gear, people do that in order to get massive runs. And I think that that's kind of a whole new element. Maybe it'll be involved in the real life Dega races. But for now on iRacing, I think it's actually pretty cool racing. Unfortunately, not so much pack racing, a lot of single file. So maybe it's not really aesthetically pleasing, but it's kind of fun. It brings a lot of creativity.
All right, about 10 for Mark Frimpong. Currently sits 9th here off for the restart. Go ahead and good luck out there.
Yeah, I'm going to need it with some of these people's incompetence.
I'm gonna be honest, hearing about 5th gear on a plate track sounds really weird.
Yeah, that is weird, and
that's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah, and you heard him talk about people dropping it down to 4th to get runs. That's something we only see off of IndyCar races and such. So people
adds
drop
a whole
it down
new
to 5th.
element to racing, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
That's something we've literally never seen before. That could be something to keep in mind. I mean, who knows? Maybe in real life they might be able to do that. We'll see, but. Always an interesting, that's why we kind of run this, this series. We would not have known that if we didn't run this thing. So that really does interest me, though.
Yeah.
But it is still also weird to think about that we're going to be running 5 gears at every track now.
Yeah.
Imagine them shifting up into 5th at Martinsville. That'd be nuts.
Yeah, and with the more gears to select off of, road courses are going to be more technical, as well as short tracks, and tracks in which you have to downshift. Or when it's optional to downshift, tracks like Phoenix, Gateway. You're not going to go to the Gateway with a Cup car unless you're on the iRacing service, but tracks like Gateway, in which you downshift into 1. Tracks like Phoenix, and we have to optional, downshift. Martinsville, you could downshift. Road courses especially, usually through the beginning portion of the infield portion of the Roval, you're just sitting on 2nd or sitting on 3rd, just rolling through. Who knows what that extra gear could provide? So it should be interesting to see on, how people are going to adapt to these changes, and how would it all go for, especially with the engine itself. Even though these are virtual engines, you know, lots of threshold to them, but you know, on the real life side, gonna wear and tear that thing, in my opinion. So it should be interesting to see how it'll all go once it debuts next year.
Without a doubt.
Green flag. And Demantova does not get going. All the way to the back he goes. And that moves DiMaggio into second. How about that for that number 5, making his first start here tonight. And he's moved himself into second and looking for more. Oh, got a wreck already!
Early trouble here off the restart. Grayson Collins and another car, but they keep it going in the right direction, so that will keep us green.
That was the 143 of Cole Williams.
Here comes Demantova for the lead. He's going to clear.
Wow,
Big run there. He's going to take, looks like the 131 of DeAngelis with him, and maybe even Dominic.
Now, that's the first time we've seen drivers able to mount up a charge and clear for the lead. So to the front goes that number 20, Demantova. And now down to the low side, here comes Howe. And he's going to dip DeAngelis.
Well,
DeAngelis trying to come down.
Thought about that. That was a bit of a weird one right there, but Shane lead at the line. Dominic now to second. There's Parker White now up into third. And you see that red and white car at the rear of this pack. That's Cole in the 17. So he desperately needs to stay in line and stay latched on to this pack, because that right there is your title battle as they go on board right now with that 17. And with them both having the bonus point for leading the lap, Parker needs to finish 7 spots ahead of Cole. He's up by 7 right now. So this would, at the running order right now, would be a 1-point difference between those two at the end of the race. So this is going to come down to the wire.
Definitely, and he's sort of gapped the field for right now, this number 95. As they go side by side yet again, it's Kendrick going to make a run on Frimpong all the way to the high side, trying to keep some distance away, but they might go spreading out 3.
Almost 4.
Oh, this is going to get messy!
Oh, and Cole got lucky right there as the 72 of Hankins takes a big hit to the outside wall, and that was a close call there for Cole Woody as he almost got involved in that. And that's a really tough break there for the 72 of Hankins. He got turned from the lead earlier, and now gets turned from the top 10, both times not resulting in a caution.
Oh, and that has fanned out the field as Frimpong's damage was very evident there. I think that really caused a big stack up, and now we're only
Cole's
left with just 5
disconnected for
cars.
the main pack now, which is not good for him. Parker running third. I mean, Cole is now, I believe, up by a point or 2, but still 27 laps to go. You cannot rest assured now, and Cole's going to need another caution at this point to re-rack this field and get himself back within reaching distance of Parker.
We'll have to see, though. We're coming up on 25 laps to go. So it's now or never. And for these 5 drivers who are in this track by themselves, they've isolated themselves from that 7th spot. But you know, that points gap between Parker White and Cole Woody was very small. It was only 6 points, and Woody, seems as though Woody has the eligibility to pass at least 1 driver. And if he passes DeAngelis, you know, he's gonna be technically leading points. But Parker White, he's sitting in 3rd. He could pass 2 drivers and, you know, gain himself a couple of points off of that. So both of these drivers could gain something off of the packs they're in. That sucks for Kiloa Hankins.
Yeah, it can't really get much worse than getting turned from the top 10 twice in the same race and not having a caution come out both times. So really unfortunate there for him, but coming to 25 to go this time, the final third of the night. Cole currently 4 spots behind Parker White. So right now, if it ended right now, the 17 would be your champion. But, of course, still a third of the race left to go. So you cannot put an end to that battle quite yet. But we'll see if Demantova can hold on here as you see Cole making a move now for 6th on Frank DeAngelis and getting another point on Parker.
Yeah, I think DeAngelis had to scoot himself back because, you know,
think he's damaged.
He's damaged, so I think he wanted to let Woody lead this thing, so Woody gains a point. So now Woody's sitting in 6th, Parker in 3rd. Woody technically still leads this thing.
Yeah, I think Cole might be up by 3 or 4 points now. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but it's pretty close.
You see Schmidt here with Bachman. Some cars there. And you got Dadgar sitting in 11th. Frimpong has now dropped himself to 12th. And Williams, as well as Collins, was sort of involved in that.
Nice Kilo on pit road, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I think that's it for the lead lap.
Yeah, that's right. Williams and Collins was people involved in that restart incident. But yeah, it's just these 5 cars, so...
And there's Cole and DiMaggio, the 2 cars off in the distance. And then there's D'Angelo starting to lose these 2. So if this thing goes green all the way, those 2 may end up getting lapped before this is over. But it's entirely possible that Parker wins this race and doesn't win the championship, even if Cole finishes that far back.
We'll have to see. Cole's going to have to do a bit of blocking on DiMaggio, as well as DeAngelis, if he does somehow catch himself back up to this 2-car tango. But for right now, it's just these 5 cars by themselves, and I think it's going to play that way, considering the amount of drivers we just have left. I mean, so many people out of it already. But, I mean, if this top 5 somehow cause an incident, that's 1 less point Parker can sort of buffer himself out to all the way to Woody. So Parker, I think he's gonna have to win this thing to have a chance at the title.
Yeah, like I said, with a 6-point gap coming into tonight, Parker has to finish 7 spots ahead of Cole to win it by a point, with them both having gotten the lead lap bonus point. So if Parker wins and Cole stays in 6th, the 17 is still going to get the title, I believe. I believe there's a couple points, bonus points for winning the race, so it'd be really close. But I mean, I think it's a pretty realistic scenario that it ends up being a tie, and there has to be, we have to go to tie-breaking procedures. But I mean, even though the field is the way it is right now, I mean, it could still come down to the very last lap.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, anything could happen on that final lap. And you mentioned that tiebreaker as well. A tiebreaker is going to go down to top 5s. And I just looked at statistics. Cole Woody has 4 top 5s. Parker has 2. So...
yeah, so Parker literally cannot get that tiebreaker. I mean, he get a top 5 tonight, but with it being the last race, it's impossible to get to 4. So if they tie in points, Cole will still be the champion. And I believe Cole would be and if it ended up going to wins, Cole, of course, won Auto Club, and I don't think Parker's won this season.
Yeah, Parker did win once, actually.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, he won, I think, at Martinsville. So
that's right, yeah, when he got stuck in the wall.
Yeah, so they both have wins, but in terms of top 5s, Woody has more. But Parker had more top 10s, so if it went all the way to top 10s, Parker would have won that tiebreaker, because he had 5 instead of Cole's 4.
Which means Cole is pretty consistent. He's gotten a top 5 in every race he's been in so far. And right now he's only 1 spot behind, out of that, though he's 8.5 seconds back of that 5th place car. 20 to go this time by. So, and DeAngelis is long gone to those 2 now, so it's just DiMaggio and Cole riding it out, and then these top 5 here. And I think DeAngelis is going to get caught by Schmidt and Bachman pretty shortly too.
So yeah, Woody, all he has to do is just block that 5 of DiMaggio and keep him off of his, keep him out of contention for that spot. So let's say Parker White wins this race. Parker will get, hold up, let me pull a calculator. Parker has 196 points, so, add 40 plus leading a lap plus the win, which is 3 points. So he'll have 240 points. But if Woody if Woody finishes 6th, and that means Woody will gain, I think, 35. So if Woody gains 35 points plus that lap led, keeps it down 132. So that means Man, I think Woody's in the best spot for right now. Or is he? I'm not really sure. I probably screwed up on the math, but I need to pull up my freaking notepad for this. Crap.
Handy dandy notepad, right?
Yeah. This is a bit embarrassing because I just sort of did all that in my head, but regardless, you know. Bit of silence here as I try to calculate this. So Parker ends up winning. And Woody gets 6th. Oh my god. Oh my god, Frimpong just staying low side, but you know, doing that for a valid reason, trying to stall out leaders.
Maybe that's now 13 on the lead lap.
So Woody would have 238 if he were to finish 6th, but if Parker won this race, 40 plus 3 plus 1. He had 240. So Parker needs to win this race. So if he doesn't, if he finishes 2nd, that's not going to be enough points to net him a victory because those bonus points off of a win are not going to cut it. He won't get those bonus points for that win.
I mean, it's still possible that he could win and lose the championship. If Cole can somehow gain a couple more spots, you know, finish 3rd or 4th,
right?
It is possible for Parker to win and not even get the title. But again, Cole's going to need a caution to come out, though. I mean, he's 12.5 seconds back of this main pack, so...
Yeah, so...
And I don't know at this point, with just how few cars are left, if we're going to see another caution.
Yeah, and as well as... if Parker wins this race, Woody has to make up 2 spots. But who knows? You might see some drivers take themselves off of the white flag. I mean, we've seen it so many times. Just super speedway racing at its finest.
Hey, we saw just on Sunday the entire field wrecked coming to the white except for the top 3. So you never know. Crazier things have happened.
Just have to see though. It's just these 5 left by themselves. Demantova, Howe, White, Kendrick, and Hobbs. All in a line. And you got Woody 12 seconds back of this mess. See Frimpong up there. Then you got Schmidt, DeAngelis, and I think Bachman also. And after that you got a pack with Dadgar, who's sort of getting sandwiched by a few lap cars. And you see the 143 of Cole Williams. Now getting lapped. If Cole is going to be able to latch on to the rear of this pack as... oh, move up front! Man, Demantova goes up high, so that moves Parker White into 2nd.
Another point for him. And Demantova ends up now back into 5th after leading the race, so...
Parker, again, he needs to win this thing. He can't finish 2nd. I'm very curious why Demantova gave up the lead. But, I mean, you have the 143 hooked onto this lead draft now. That is huge for Parker White. He has a helper. Because Cole Williams, Parker White, they're teammates. And Cole really has nothing to lose. He's laps down, not in contention with it. He doesn't mind shooting up there to that 2nd line and making something of it. So Demantova goes to 5th. Parker White moves into 2nd. The only real team I see really grouped up, and it's only Parker's, you know, group. So I'm not sure if Kendrick is working with Parker. Just have to see, but man, this top 3, ever since Howe got the lead, he's already starting to pull himself away.
Yeah, it looks like Demantova and Mitch, I thought for a second might lose the draft, but just as I said that, or thought that, they're right back up there again. But the laps are winding down here as DiMaggio and... I guess, I don't know what that was, but... You see DeAngelis has been caught by Schmidt, and has been passed by him, and Bachman in that mix as well. So this is 8th, 9th, and 10th on the track. I believe this is 11th through 13th right now.
It's just Dadgar who's 11th. I think Clappert's laps down. He's 7 down, and Gabe, of course, he's 5 laps down. So these people
just little
running by
pods are
themselves.
breaking out. Really, it kind of feels like a practice session almost. Where when you have plate practices, you have like the couple groups of cars that just go out and run laps on their own. It kind of has a vibe like that, where sometimes they just take turns up front to see how it feels to push and be pushed and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess if you want to look at it like that, I mean they're running some pretty good practice times, but it's a championship after all.
Gonna come up on the 6.
Being fought for.
Yeah, that's right. They're gonna come up on these 3 here in a moment. That's Clappert, Dadgar, and Allen. They're all coming up on here in a moment.
See if they can latch on.
Yeah, I think Dadgar's gonna be able to latch himself on, but everybody else is just. I think Allen and Clappert just too damaged to maybe latch on to this pack. We'll just have to see though, and what kind of line they're just gonna hold through. Now 11 to go, so it hasn't been as boring as I thought it would. I knew the next gens and cup races are just known for being pretty less dramatic, but in terms of like technically speaking and strategic wise, it's been an interesting race, especially with the championship, as well as you see some of these drivers just moving themselves up high and out of harm's way. Clapper gonna hold bottom because of it, but Dadgar scraping the wall. They might have to split it 3 wide through these drivers. As Clapper holds bottom.
Yeah, Clappert's staying up. Oh, jeez, he went up to the top at the very last second. I'm sure that just scared the crap out of some of the guys in that lead pack. I don't think they expected him to do that, as Dadgar, unfortunately, is not going to be able to latch onto this pack. I think he got held up by Clappert a bit there.
Yeah, he got held up by Clappert, and Dadgar is probably not going to go anywhere. But Gabe, we'll see if Gabe could latch himself onto the rear.
Oh, no, I think he's already too far back. Oh, and there they go! They wreck up front! And this is what we said. No matter how small the pack is, anything can happen. And a big hit to the outside wall there for Mitch Hobbs. And that's going to send him out of this lead pack. And somebody else was involved in that too, but kept it going. Looks like it might have been Kendrick. And that's going to leave us with just 3 cars in the lead pack. But we'll get a look at it here. Out of 2. And I think Mitch just pulled up high and got loose.
Yeah, same scenario what we saw with Webster and...
I think it was Clappert.
Webster and Clappert.
So that leaves Dominic Howe, Parker White, and Shane Diamantova as the only 3 cars left in this lead pack.
And not only that, Hobbs is on pit road, so Woody's going to get a point. But,
well, I mean, and that's big because DiMaggio got by him, so that's going to get that point back.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, you got drivers technically just by themselves right now. It's Parker and Dominic by themselves. Diamantova is still sort of semi-latched onto this. They have that. It's Kendrick with Dadgar. Dadgar's a lap down, so.
And Mitch just pit.
And it's
these 2, DiMaggio and Woody.
Yeah,
and then Schmidt and Bachman are together. DeAngelis is with them still. And Mitch still on pit road. He's going to get passed depending on how long he's there.
Man.
We'll see if Diamantova can hold on to these top 2. I'm not sure if he will be able to, but...
Yeah, it looks like he just gets himself to the backside. So it's not just a 3-course race. And Diamantova has a big run at the backside of Parker, but end up pushing him rather than pulling it to the high side. It's just these 3 by themselves. I mean, very odd to see that, especially with this kind of plate racing, but, you know, it's what it is, and... There's Kendrick. But man, with DiMaggio passing Woody, that's huge. So Woody needs to find himself around DiMaggio ASAP. There's only 8 laps to go, but I mean, you know how this aero package works. It's hard to pass people. So
I mean, right now the championship is still Cole's, but I mean, if Parker makes a move up top, if Diamantova goes with him, that's all she wrote right there, so...
Yeah, that's right.
We'll have to see.
And I think Diamantova is probably going to work with White, because that's the only thing you could make. That's the only move that's sort of viable to make for the lead.
I mean, he's gonna have to convince Parker to, or Parker's gonna have to convince Shane to go with him.
It'll be easily convinced on the white.
I mean, Parker could make the move up top, but Shane could just decide to stay on the bottom with Dominic, so you never know. And I'm sure Cole might be communicating with DiMaggio, but maybe letting him by, you never know, but 6 to go this time by.
Yeah, this race got a bit more interesting as we've eliminated Mitch Hobbs off of contention. And not only that, you gotta watch the 0-0 as well. If Kendrick somehow falls into the hands of Woody and DiMaggio, that's another point that the 0-0 could get. I mean, that the 17 could get. And if Woody finishes in 3rd and Parker ends up winning this thing, they're gonna be tied, so...
I mean, for that to happen, Cole and DiMaggio would have to gain 15 seconds on Kendrick in these last 5 laps. So that would be 3 seconds a lap. And I don't think that's feasible. So, we'll see.
Oh,
and
Woody to the inside.
There's Cole going for 5th.
This is what Woody needed. Yeah, he needed this. So, a swap here for
right
5th
now,
spot.
he's got it.
For right now, he has it. So,
we'll see if he stays there.
And Schmidt is also catching these 2 drivers. So,
the 2 behind him are also on the lead lap too.
Yeah, so
Bachman and DeAngelis.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll have to watch that as much as we're watching this.
Here. And you know Schmidt's going to get a big run off of these 2 drivers, DiMaggio and Woody, that they're just leaving behind, so...
Him and Bachman will probably both go by, maybe even DeAngelis.
And if that happens, then, I mean, Woody has a 2-point buffer to really tinker around with. I mean, so if he loses 2 spots, it's over.
If Parker gets 2nd and Cole gets 8th, assuming he gets passed by all 3 of them, if it's 2nd and 8th, I think they end up tied.
I'll have to see.
But if Parker wins, Cole needs to finish at least 3rd.
And here comes Schmidt.
And here we go. So Schmidt's going to get by DiMaggio here.
And Woody
Looks
drags
like
him.
Bachman's going to get by him as well. And we'll see if DeAngelis does. So Woody's in line here to possibly lose spots. I think he's going to block here.
Oh, he has to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
He had to. And DiMaggio is actually on fuel conservation mode. He is on the edge of... DiMaggio and DeAngelis are on fuel conservation mode right now. Demantova is actually... He's close to the end as well, so... Now Woody has to fend off Schmidt. And they're coming up on a few lap drivers, and I don't think Schmidt's going to lay around. But man, this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and if Demantova's close on fuel and can't go full pace to the end, that's going to hurt Parker too, because then he'll have to make that move all on his own. Without any help.
So...
Man, so this is going to be a really interesting one to see here, is... Through the trial vote, they're coming to take 2 to go, and Demantova is right back to the rear bumper of Parker White again. He was a couple tenths back earlier, but has now caught those 2. This looks like it's mellowed out a bit right now, as Woody and Schmidt are starting to separate themselves from Bachman, DeAngelis, and DiMaggio.
And again, these people, they're close on
if
fuel.
If Parker stays in 2nd, Cole can afford to lose a spot or 2, but no more than that.
That's right.
So we're going to have to keep pinning the camera back. And yeah, you see a window of 35 to 40. So it's going to be really close for those guys that are on 37.
That's right.
About right in the middle of the window.
So if Demanto and Kendrick run out, Woody is definitely going to pick up those spots.
Here we go. Schmidt makes a move up top. Bachman's in the state of the bottom.
Oh, that's what Woody wanted. And we've hit the white flag, by the way.
Here we go.
White flag.
We'll see what happens here, and then we'll pan back to the 2nd pack. We'll see when Parker decides to go. And Shane, I think he was going to think about going out on his own. Here we go.
Again, Parker needs to win this race, so he has to have Shane work with him.
When's he going to make the move? Look, I wonder if it's going to be out of 4.
It has to be out of 4. I mean, with only
That's
one...
the only place now.
Yeah, that's the only place, or maybe through the trial. Here comes Shane, he has a run.
Here we go. Out of 4. Shane's going to go up high up by himself. Parker's going to go up top as well. Through the trial they go. And Shane's going to take a 3 right up the middle as they both wreck behind him. Parker White wins it at Talladega. And now we're going to pan back to Cole Woody, who's leading the second pack right now with Bachman and Schmidt behind him. So Parker has won the race, maxed out on points tonight. So now we're going to see if Cole can fend off these 4. And if he can do so, he'll be the champion anyway.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. But man, those bonus points are going to play. Those bonus points on Parker are going to play a huge factor.
Line, 4 wide behind them, and Cole will hold off. And I believe that's going to be a 4th place finish, or 5th place actually. So Parker wins, and Cole gets 5th. So now it's going to come down to calculating points and see if Cole finished high enough to retain that championship lead. But congratulations to Parker White, regardless of his championship status, on picking up the win tonight. Timed that move perfectly, and luckily for him, D. Mantova went with him.
Those bonus points for Parker are huge. I think that actually might have netted him that championship, that move through the trial. We'll just have to see though as we calculate this out. But regardless, for Parker White and that number 95, that was impressive. And not only that, it all came down to that final corner as well.
Yeah, and with how difficult it is to pass in these cars, Parker took pretty much the only opportunity he really had and ran with it and got him the win. So we'll get the unofficial results here, then we'll scoot ourselves off to the side for a moment, then we'll come back with points and interviews. But
Wow.
we'll pull up results here for tonight. And like I said, we'll come back in a moment with interviews and stuff. Parker White, the winner here for tonight. Stay tuned to see if he got the title or not. Dominic Howe ends up in 2nd. Shane D. Mantova, great run for him there, in 3rd. Ryan Kendrick in 4th. Cole Woody led the points coming into tonight. We'll see if he did so after tonight. Frank DeAngelis, William Schmidt, David Bachman, Michael DiMaggio, and Cole Williams round out your top 10.
Dadgar, Collins, Allen, Clappert, Hobbs, Frimpong, Hankins, Granada, Visconti, Lights round out the top 20.
And all these guys did not finish the race. Cody Webster, Andrew Lutz Jr., Patrick Mooch, Jackson Menchu, Julian Ritchie, Connor Brandon, Peter Kenny, Corey H. Hartz, Nick Miller, and Glenn Bundren Jr.
Rest of the order here is Sawyer St. Clair, Liam Sheen, Joe Berge, and Justin Johnson rounding out the rest of the order. Be right back right after this as we just calculated points. Gonna go ahead and drive in and drag in the top 3 as well as our champion here for just a moment. Back here live for the ACOG iRacing League on the next gen era. Finally, season number 1 has concluded in the Summer League. And one of our 3 series has gone into the history books after this 75 lap event at Talladega. And it was fairly interesting. I mean, not our typical super speedway race, but regardless, I mean, we had a final lap pass, and that's
drum roll, please.
And that's all she wrote for Parker White and that number 95, who not only won the race, but has netted himself the championship through that final lap pass. How about that for Parker White? I mean, it all came down to one corner.
Well, we thought it was going to. So he needed to finish 6 spots ahead of Cole, or 7 spots ahead of Cole. Finished 4 spots ahead, which if he didn't win the title wouldn't have been enough, but with the 3 bonus points for winning, pushed him a single point up on that 17 to take home the title. And as we bring Parker into the booth, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, you won the race and you won the title. We were talking about in the booth, you know, would Shane DiMantova go with you there on the final lap? And thankfully he did for you. Were you talking to him during the race and trying to strategize with that, or do you think it was just dumb luck that he decided to?
Well, we're teammates. We're not teammates for the league, but we are teammates just on iRacing in general. But we were in the same voice chat. I was in BC with a few other people in the race, but he wasn't one of them. And once that final wreck happened and there was no yellow, I was kind of just I heard somewhere that I was like 6 points behind Cole or something, but I'm not completely sure what it actually was. So I was just looking to see where Cole was on the track, and I knew Shane was my teammate, and I didn't know if he would go with me. But then they're coming off a far. I saw him go high because apparently he was just going to try to go win it for himself. But then I went high there, and then I was able to side draft Dom, and then I pulled up ahead of him, and then they just raced behind me. So I was just able to drive away and win there. Coming into this race, I knew that I had a shot at the title, but I never got to check points. So I knew that I should just try to win the race and try to beat Cole. So I guess I executed that pretty well. I also got a 0x and I got a lap lead. So I believe that gave me a few bonus points, but I'm not completely sure. But yeah, definitely happy to get the win here in the championship.
Yeah, execution 100 for sure. And, you know, we were dragging a couple people into the booth throughout the duration of the race, asking about the cars and stuff. I mean, how do these new next-gen cars feel out there on the plate tracks? Because obviously, you know, we're all used to how driving Talladega, but how did these cars feel on them, and what was, you know, the side drafting like and all that stuff?
Well, I would say that it's an upgrade from what the current Cup car package is on iRacing. It's a lot easier to race. The problem with the current Cup car package is just that we haven't had it on iRacing enough to completely learn it. There are guys like Coke drivers that have gotten it figured out. When AFX went here a few weeks ago, one notable driver that actually got to work was Malik Ray, Michael Guest, just everyone that actually could, that really knows the sim. They got the new package to work, but I'd say this is just an easier package to drive, and it's a lot easier to race side by side, and it's very, very, very similar to the current Cup car, but it's just kind of a downgrade, just not as much because there's a bubble behind the cars from the big spoiler, and you have to break that to be able to push, and it is extremely easy to break that bubble in these cars compared to the Cup car. And once you break that bubble, you're just glued onto their bumper. And it's so easy to tandem, but the problem with tandeming is that the temps just go so high, and you have to back off and cool it down, and you can't just stay locked on for, say, a lap and a half, but you can stay locked on for enough to, say, generate a run and make a move. So it was definitely a really fun race there, just getting to generate runs. And I believe Cole Williams and I actually had a really fast lap there in mid-race when we were trying to catch the pack. We were in a 48.7 or something. And I think when we were just running at a pack, it was 49.7. So we ran an entire second faster than we were originally. So yeah, like I said, it's definitely a very fun package to drive. But I'd say I personally prefer the Xfinity car package or the ARC car package, but it's definitely nice to have on the sim.
Yeah, interesting for sure, and it was fun to watch up here, and of course fun for you, I'm sure, now that you've added yourself the title. And before you let go tonight, any sponsors you want to thank here for helping you here?
Yeah, I've just got to thank everyone here at ACOG, MaxspeedTV, just everyone that came out here to race this season. I've also got to thank Nebula Esports, Mail Motorsports, Rocket Racing Setups, Snowman Studios, Landon Mills Paints, Blaze Designs, Bunch of Lawn Care, and Yellow Media.
All right, Parker White, race winner and championship winner tonight at Talladega. Hope to see you back here for the remainder of the weekend.
All right, thank you.
That's Parker White with Dragon Dominic Howe, at number 86, who led the majority of the field for the rest of that final run, but unfortunately, of course, with just 3 cars left, it just all came down to that final lap. And Dominic, it seems as though with just 3 cars up there, seemed as though it was just Carb Cup and you were just a sitting duck off of 4. Anything else you could have done?
Nope, nothing at all I could have done. You know, it all mattered on who got a run out of 4 and who Shane went with, and well, Shane went with Parker, and Parker ended up winning, so it is what it is.
If it is what it is, Parker netted himself a win as you came home second, 0.3 off of the win, unfortunately. But you mentioned it about this package. It's very, very vast and different, and it seems as though you played the strategy off well enough to be in contention, but unfortunately, when it came to make that final lap move, you were just short. But describe to me just the racing out there with everybody just all fanned out and such.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of just right around 80% throttle and make sure the cars behind you don't get a run. But if more than one car decides to pull out on you, you're screwed. So I don't know. Maybe something could have happened if there were more than 3 cars left at the end. But strategy can only get you so far with this package. Like, I could get myself up front, but you can't make yourself win.
All right, about 10-4. Dominic Howe rounds himself out second here tonight. But before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here?
Nope, no sponsors, no team, no teammates. But you know, thanks to y'all for doing the broadcast. You know, it was pretty cool, y'all.
All right, about 10-4. Dominic Howe rounds himself out in second place. Go ahead and see you coming next race, man.
Yep, thank you.
We'll drag in one more person, a couple more people into the booth, then goes Shane.
Hey, Shane, get a copy?
I got you guys.
Yeah, we were talking about in the booth all night. Once that final wreck cap with about 15 to go, and it was just you 3 up at the front, whether or not you'd go with Parker. And then he revealed that you were teammates, which I did not know, and now it makes a lot more sense. But it seemed like you went up before he did. Were you trying to win it for yourself more than helping your teammate? Not to throw you under the bus or anything, but genuinely curious if you were trying to just go win it for you.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm not even going to lie to you. That was the plan from the beginning. I don't race that often now. I don't even race in this league that much. And coming out of 4, I was like trying to back up my run, and then I didn't have anything. And obviously, me and Parker are teammates on Nebula Esports, so I wanted to help him out win the championship. So I kind of pushed him, and then coming to the line, I went to go make a pass for second on Dom, and he kind of doored me. I didn't really appreciate that too much, but I don't know what that was all about. But P3, still not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. And we've asked a lot of people so far tonight, what'd you think of the next-gen cars here out on the plate tracks compared to the current Cup cars and the other cars here on the service?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's 100% better, but it's definitely a whole lot better than what the Cup offers for sure. I still think nothing beats the Truck or Xfinity package. Those 2 are really fun. And so if I had to order them, I'd probably put Truck and Xfinity 1. I can't really decide between the 2, and then next gen, and then Cup right at the bottom.
Yeah, I can't disagree about the trucks. I love watching those things race, but I think you guys put on a pretty good show here for tonight, and for you, ends up with a podium finish. And before you let go tonight, any sponsors you want to thank here?
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank everybody over at Nebula Esports, obviously. Congrats to Parker on the win once again there. KBRN, obviously you guys for broadcasting this whole thing, MaxspeedTV. Shout out to my other team, my dirt team, all my buddies over there at MFK Speed Labs. I know a couple of them are watching, so it was fun though. Enjoyed it out here.
All right, double podium here for Nebula tonight. Shane Diamatova, P3 here. Hope to see you back here for the rest of the weekend.
I'm not sure if you guys will, but thank you.
Dragging one more person, the man who was on the losing end of that who was on the losing end of that championship battle. Into the booth goes Cole Woody, and number 17, who just unfortunately 1 point made the difference of you and a championship. And unfortunately, it all came down to that final lap. Seems as though you had everybody in your pack held off, but you know, in the other pack, things just turned out differently. Woody, how can you recap the season and how your race went here tonight?
Well, all I can say is I got beat fair and square. You know, Parker's better than me all night. I didn't have anything for him. He was better than me all season. He got to me at the last race. I got nothing but the utmost respect for him. We had a good season. We had consistent season, besides Martinsville, but that was to be expected. But we ran nearly perfect all season. I mean, we ran perfect in this race. We stayed out of trouble. We led some laps, finished in the top 5, but Parker just was the better man tonight. I got nothing bad to say. I got nothing to complain about. We finished second fair and square, and that's how it should be.
10-4, man. Woody comes home 5th here tonight. You elected to lay yourself toward the rear for tonight's race, and of course, a lot of people reckon themselves out. You started to slowly crawl yourself up there, but then you know how the package worked. It just disconnected you. We didn't describe to me the racing out there with you just in the versus the package and such.
Yeah, it was super tough to even get a run on somebody because I couldn't catch anybody. Nobody could catch me. Nobody could pass anybody. It was just, if you weren't in the front 5, you were just dead screwed all race long, and I was never really in prime position to really put myself in a position to win the race. I was just staying in the top 10, top 15 all race long. Hopefully we would catch a late caution there at the end that never came through, but hey, we tried it. We finished 5th with a clean car, and I got nothing bad to say at all.
All right, bud. 10-4 Cole Woody. He rounds himself out 5th. Second in the championship standings, bud. Congratulations. But before I let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
And no sponsors, but thank you for Bachman for helping me there on the last lap. Without him, I think we would have been deeper in the points, but just came up one point short. 1 point.
All right, bud. 10-4 Cole Woody rounds himself out 5th. Go ahead and see you coming to the next race, man.
All right, thank you very much.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks for Woody. I mean,
Yeah.
to come home that close to a championship, that literally makes the difference of...
I mean,
Yeah.
he did everything right, but Parker did everything right a bit better than Cole did. So, congrats to Parker White once again, your race winner and your championship winner here tonight. And that will wrap up here our mini Next Gen series. And, you know, obviously some of the races, you know, I'll flat out admit, some of the races, you know, they weren't that great. But, you know, this was basically just one big testing session that we had over the last 6 weeks. Just see how these things run and across all the different tracks that are on iRacing and everything. And of course, these cars are still probably going to change a whole lot by the time they're rolled out for real next year. So the race we had tonight might be totally different than the one we see, you know, in real life at Talladega. But regardless, it was really fun to see these cars on track for the first time here in ACOG, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And Zeke, what do we have on tap here for the rest of the weekend to wrap up this summer series?
Well, for our final dirt late model race, of course, we're going to go to the high banks of Eldora Speedway for that final event. Probably going to run heat racing depending on how many people are going to show up for that. And as well as for Sunday night, the Super Speedway Series is going to be home here at Talladega Super Speed with the Xfinity cars. So it should be interesting to see on how that'll all change for that compared to this race and such. Not saying this was a bad race, but it was definitely interesting regardless.
Yeah, without a doubt. And thank you once again here for tuning in for tonight. Congrats once again to Parker White, and for Zeke Reyes, I am Dewey Schramm. Bye.